Hi there, I'm Debbie. I am a Western consulting astrologer using the whole sign house system and the tropical zodiac. And today I'd like to talk about the new moon in Pisces this Sunday, the 10th of March at 9 a.m. That's universal time, so convert to your own time zone, dependent on where you are in the world. So welcome if you're new to my channel. I usually put out a couple of videos a month on the new and full moon and sometimes in between. And I really welcome you to like and subscribe to my page, which helps my channel grow. If you're interested in hearing more of my astrological sharings, I really appreciate that. So it doesn't cost anything. And also welcome back to viewers that are returning to my channel here on the astrological new moon in Pisces. So first of all, what I'd like to do is show an image of Pisces, which represents what we're going to be experiencing at this new moon. And we only get one new moon a year in each sign of the zodiac. So it will always be at this time of year. And the new moon is an opportunity to plant seeds of intention to bring to fruition over the next lunar cycle. And they can be in cycles of 2 weeks, coming to fruition around the full moon. Get my notes here. Bear with me. The full moon on the 25th of March, that will be a lunar eclipse in Virgo. So that's very significant. If you're working on a project that you'd like to plant now to bring to fruition within 2 weeks, you've got until the 25th of March. Or it can be a more longer term plan that you would like to start now to initiate, to plant the seeds of, in the sense of a new beginning and for something to germinate over the next 6 months, which will come to fruition around the 18th of September this year. And that would be at a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So that's a whole 6-month period. And also, even further afield, there is a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025. So that's much more in the future. But just having an awareness of the new moon and the potential to think about what you would like to germinate and bring to fruition, to full illumination in your life. You've got the opportunity to do this at the new moon when there's a darkness, and it's like the soil of the earth that we can plant our seeds of intention in that can come to fruition. So let me just share an image of Pisces glyph and the image of Pisces and the watery energies that Pisces can represent. So here is the image of the glyph of Pisces, and it's the symbol of the two fish swimming in opposite directions. So Pisces is a feminine yin, receptive, sensitive, inward feeling water sign of the zodiac, which is of the mutable modality. So we have fixed, cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Mutability is about flexibility, about movement, about restlessness, about adaptability and change. So there's this potential around this new moon in Pisces to tap into our inner selves, our emotional, creative selves, our expansive spiritual selves, and go inward, looking at the emotional senses of our inner world with this Pisces. So in modern times, Pisces has been given the ruler Neptune to rule the domain of Pisces, Neptune with the trident ruling the oceans. But in ancient astrology, which I've most recently studied under Nightlight Astrology and with Kelly Surtees, amongst others, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system and represents a sense of growth and expansion, widening the horizons, and a sense of learning and making sense of the world. So during this Pisces new moon, it depends on where Pisces is on the house cusp within your chart. And if you look below, if you know your time of birth, you can cast your chart using the whole sign house system with free data. And there's a tuition video below that you can follow, or contact me if you'd like a personal reading, because we all have this Pisces house somewhere within the 12 signs of the zodiac in our personal natal chart. Next, I'd like to show a lovely image. This is just, for me, this just sums up the sense of being within the water element, you know, supported, flowing, connected to the collective. And that's the sense of appreciation, faith, spiritual tuning in, attunement. And there's that lovely moon there, the light and the water. represented by this image of the mermaid. So I think she's a very Piscean image, and I thought that would be quite a nice image to share. So Pisces allows us to tap into our inner landscape of feelings. And at the new moon, you can work with being close to water, perhaps. That can be a very healing and therapeutic thing to do around new moon, calming the mind, tuning into your deeper, more peaceful inner world, tuning into your intuition, looking at what's lacking, looking at what you'd like to create and bring into your world, and being aware of your sense of belief systems and how you can expand that. So next, I'd like to share a chart of the actual new moon so we can see what planetary weather is happening. So this is a chart of the new moon in Pisces. It says 8:59, but another chart of mine showed at 9 a.m. That's universal time. So let me just annotate and show you what's going on in the heavens here before we go into the interpretations for each sign of the zodiac. So I intend to do an introduction here talking about the planetary weather, and then you can skip to your rising sign if you know your time of birth, beginning with Aries. Scroll along the timestamps, Aries, Taurus, right through to Pisces being the last interpretation. And that saves you listening to the whole video if you're not one to want to listen to a video that may be an hour or so long. So let me show you up here. We have what's called a stellium in Pisces. Obviously, the sun and the moon are always conjunct at new moon. They're at 20 degrees, 16 minutes. So they're known as the luminaries. And they're also cushioned between Saturn, Kronos, Lord of Time, the most distant planet of the solar system. He's been in Pisces since March 2023, and he will be here for 2.5 years until 2025. So he brings lessons to our life. He is the taskmaster. He makes us have reality checks. He makes us, look at what's limiting in our lives, what's lacking, what's difficult, what's challenging, what helps us grow and take on more mastery, responsibility, and become wiser. So he can be bringing some somber, challenging, restrictive energies, learning how to create boundaries in Pisces. But he also is co-present with Neptune. As I mentioned, Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and Neptune was discovered in a time of when the society was interested in spiritual beliefs like seances and spirituality and mediumship. All of that was happening in the world. So when planets, new modern day planets, are discovered, the keywords and what's happening in society is given to be related to that particular planet. So Neptune is about faith, fantasy, imagination, spirituality. It can bring in dreaminess, great creativity, and a sense of connection to something that's bigger than ourselves, the collective. However, the shadow side of Neptune can be confusing energies, delusion, deception, deceit, depletion, things like that. So you've got this new moon sandwiched between these energies of Saturn, the taskmaster, Kronos, Lord of Time, and Neptune, the spiritual uncle that's insightful. So that's quite an interesting mix, that stellium of planets. And we also have a Jupiter conjoined with, not conjoined, but co-present in Taurus. So Jupiter has been here since last May. I'm getting my annotate arrows. And will spend a year in this sign. So Jupiter's at 12 degrees, 59 minutes in Taurus, and Uranus is at 19 degrees, 52 minutes. So Jupiter rules this new moon, and Jupiter lends a sextile, a 60-degree aspect to Saturn, moving out of the sextile, but still within orb. So Jupiter is expansive. Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system, so represents a sense of growth and opportunity, a sense of wanting to learn and understand. It can be about some sense of travel, good fortune. So this sextile energy, the nature of Venus, harmonizes and lends support to the lessons that Saturn bring us all, wherever that Pisces area of your life is. And Uranus is the change maker, the one that brings in sudden, unexpected change. And he is still here with Jupiter bringing in the curved ball, wanting to break routines, destabilizing things, bringing in a sense of breaking the mold, challenging traditions. When in Taurus is quite fixed, but it can break down our usual routines and bring in a curved ball, bringing in unexpected events, sometimes illuminating and exciting, and sometimes destabilizing and shocking. So there's a mix there with Uranus and Jupiter co-present in Taurus. We've recently had a cazimi in the house of Pisces up here. A cazimi is when the sun is conjoined by the exact degree and minute, and when planets are in the heart of the sun, in that cazimi point, it's a sweet spot of empowerment, of energy and focus and special powers. So Saturn and Mercury were in a cazimi in this house of Pisces. That was on the 28th of February. So if you can cast your mind back to then, there could have been an opportunity with deep, sudden clarity and power that you were able to use in your life in that Pisces area of your chart, which I will go into when I go through the signs of the zodiac. What else have we got on? We have Venus squaring, undo that one first. Venus is squaring Uranus. So Venus at 28 degrees Aquarius is making, no, that's not true. Undo that thought. That's not true. I don't know why I've got that there. There's not a square there. What am I thinking? I was maybe looking at a different chart, so just ignore that there. We've recently had Venus and Mars conjoined in Aquarius. So there was a blending of the feminine energies and Mars, the masculine energies, which happened a few weeks back. But in this new moon period of time, we also have Chiron, the wounded healer, at 17 degrees 43 minutes, still in a conjunction to the north node of the moon, Rahu, the severed head of the dragon, in this Aries zone of our chart, which is giving us the potential to heal wounds around our own abilities and self-belief. And that will also depend on where Aries is in your chart. So there's a lot of different energies going on here. And as I said before, if you use the new moon energies, you can plant seeds of intention to bring to the fore in the future. And there's also going to be Mercury. Mercury's just moved into Aries here, 0 degrees, 23 minutes. When Mercury was in Pisces, apart from the cazimi moment of empowerment, Mercury is known to be in detriment in Pisces. The planet Mercury is about communications, travel, our mind, our interactions, our ideas, our plans, our journeys. So when in Pisces, it's in the opposite sign to Virgo, which Mercury rules and is exalted in, but now moves out of that detriment into fiery, impulsive Aries. So there's a sense of being able to forge forward a bit more with this fiery Mars-ruled Mercury placement here. However, Mercury will be going retrograde shortly. So this is a short period of time that we can use this more assertive and bold energy, because coming around the 19th of March, which is only 9 days after this new moon, there will be the shadow period, the pre-shadow period before Mercury goes retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April, and then add on a couple of weeks after the 24th of April, and that will bring you around the 9th of May, when Mercury is out of that shadow period and you're able to be more dynamic with your plans and forge ahead between the 9th of May and the 15th of May. But during the Mercury retrograde, for all of us, it's a time of reviewing, revisiting, reassessing, revising, going back over things from the past. And you know, that's the positive things that we can do: revisit things and go back over and reassess things so that we can change how we do things in the future. Because when Mercury is retrograde, it's generally not a good time to sign contracts and commit yourself to things, because there can be miscommunications in the air. There can be travel delays. There can be transport problems. There can be tech problems, because Mercury rules communication and the internet. So just being aware of those dates, and I'll mention them again as I go through the different signs of the zodiac. So now I'm going to move on to Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, and see which area of life this new moon will be happening, and where the other planetary weather will be affecting you. So welcome, Aries. This is the chart of the heavens at this new moon for you. And as we can see, Sun and the Moon, Saturn and Neptune are here in the 12th house of Pisces, which is the most hidden area of your chart. It's called the joy of Saturn in ancient times, because it's the most distant place from the first house, which is here. And we go around second, third, fourth, sixth, all the way around to the 12th house. So this is a very private area of you. And you have an opportunity here to plant some seeds of a new beginning behind the scenes, in a place of deep retreat, perhaps. This house of Saturn's joy is encouraging you to take responsibility. And maybe this cazimi that we recently had with the conjunction of the Sun, Mercury and Saturn in this house gave you an opportunity to really focus your thoughts and ambitions and plans that you may have been culminating behind the scenes. It certainly encourages you to develop deeper aspects of your spiritual self related to your dreams and your psyche. And this may be a new opportunity to break habits that are unhealthy for you, because this is also known to be the house of self-undoing, because in this house we can feel out of control, and then we can create addictions to bad habits or practices, so and get a sense of losing ourselves. So because you're so far from the helm of the ship, the first house. Alternatively, this could be an indication that it's a good time to take more time privately in places of seclusion and retreat from the public world. Places like ashrams are related to the 12th house, libraries, hospitals, hospices, nature itself, being in nature and the privacy away from the public. This is somewhere where you can perhaps renew yourself, connect with your inner self, have a sense of peace, listen to your intuition, and plan ahead. It's also the house of compassion. So it may be that you, being, in this Piscean house, it may be that you offer support to others that are suffering, because Pisces is very aware of the collective. So dates to think about when your new projects, if you're planning to create new plans for the future, may come to fruition. Short term would be the 25th of March when there's a lunar eclipse in Virgo, or 6 months later when there's a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 18th of September 2024. And much further afield, there's a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September. So these are dates for the future. We've had Venus and Mars recently in Aquarius up here being conjoined in this house, which is related to your groups and your community, friendships that are like your tribe, your family, people that support you. This was the house of benefactors in ancient times. And there could have been a blend of bringing your hopes and dreams and wishes to fruition here, long-term plans. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's not true. I'm not going to read that out again. I've written something wrong. This can happen in your prep before these things, but where am I now? Let's go back. We've got, so there was an opportunity here. This is Jupiter's joy, where the 11th house is your dreams, hopes, and wishes. And we had Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, union, peace, harmony, romance, and your values, connected with Mars, the warrior god of passion and assertion and action. So there was a conjunction up there in that house there of Jupiter's joy in Aquarius. So perhaps this is encouraging something more long-term for you. And also, where have we got Pluto? Pluto has also just ingressed into this house of Jupiter's joy. So there's a sense of many relationships maybe many changes that you will go through, because Pluto represents a death, endings, rebirth and renewal, with a sense of regeneration and finding your power in these deep, intense journeys related to facing our shadow side and seeing what lies beneath by purging out what we no longer need. So it could be that you meet many different types of people or go through many different friendship groups over the next 20 years, because Pluto will take that amount of time to transit through Aquarius, and he's not been here for 248 years. He will dip back into your 10th house, which is related to your public status, your career, your vocations, and what you're seen to do in your public sphere of life back in September. I think it's the 2nd of September until the 11th of November. So that will allow you to finally tie up ends related to work, if you're in that work sphere of life, or your career, or what you're seen to do publicly, and your reputation in the world. So we also have Mercury here, just ingressed into your 1st house of Aries. So this is encouraging you to show up in the world in a bold way, assertive way, an independent way, because Aries is the 1st sign of the Zodiac. And you have got the potential here, because Mercury is here till the 15th of May, and Mars rules your sign. But there is a Mercury retrograde period coming up on the 2nd of April to the 24th of April. So bearing in mind the shadow period starts around the 19th of March, use this energy over the next 9 days following the new moon to make your plans direct, to be focused, to use your courage and boldness and independent ideas before the retrograde period. Because during the retrograde period, it's best just to let ideas simmer on the back burner, as it were. And then after the 9th of May, the post-shadow period after the 24th of April, that's the end of the Mercury retrograde period. Between the 9th of May and the 15th of May, Mercury will be at the end degrees here in Aries, giving you a little pocket of time to continue anything that you start just before the Mercury retrograde period. And also what we have here, we've got Rahu, the north node of the dragon, severed head, north node of the moon, severed head of the dragon, conjoined with Chiron, the wounded healer, continuing to give you lessons around believing in yourself, because Aries is independent, and the wounds that we carry around our own beliefs and our own abilities, you've got this continuing to carry on, but it's encouraging you to dig deep and follow your own internal compass. So I hope that's helpful for you, Aries, and thanks for listening. Next, I'll be moving on to Taurus. Thanks again for bearing with me. And just a correction, the retrograde of Pluto back into Capricorn is between the 2nd of September 2024 and the 19th of November. So yeah, press the subscribe button if you like my astrological sharings. I really appreciate that. And thanks for bearing with me. So moving on now to Taurus ascendant. If you know your time of birth, that's what we would use, because it's more about you. It's what's rising over the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. If you don't know your time of birth, you can listen in for your sun or your moon. The sun is more about your sense of ambition. It can be about your purpose in life, your career, the masculine principles, and the moon can be more related to your feminine inner world of emotions and can be related to your body, mind, and mother. But the ascendant tends to be more about you and yourself. So let me just highlight the stellium of planets up here, the joys of using the annotate tool. Here we go. Thank you for bearing with me. We've got the stellium of planets for your Taurus ascendant in your 11th house of Jupiter's joy. This is about your hopes and your wishes, your dreams, and perhaps benefits from your career or your social status. So we've got the sun and the moon at 20 degrees Pisces, and we've got Saturn on one side at 11 degrees Pisces and Neptune here at 27 degrees Pisces. So as I was mentioning before in the introduction, Saturn is about limitation, reality check, creating boundaries and structure and routines in Pisces, which is very nebulous and flowing and just hard to define and contain. So it's a challenge to do that. And Neptune encourages that sense of flowing and moving, always changing, slightly restless energy. So this is all happening in your 11th house. So it can give you an opportunity to plant some seeds of new ideas ahead, with a sense of practicality with Saturn there. And any ideas that you have that you can plant seeds of here to bring to fruition may come to their culmination point around the 25th of March at the lunar eclipse in Virgo. So that's just 2 weeks if you use the cycles of the moon in a short-term period, or 6 months later on the 18th of September 2024, when there's a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then even further down the field, because cycles are all different, there is a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025. So this new moon offers you a chance perhaps to reassess your long-term plans, because Saturn is about the future, about concrete things, about long-term. Saturn is Kronos, lord of time. So he brings reality into the mix, and there can be some confusing nebulous energies there around these topics of your plans for the future. You know, your fantasies and your highest dreams and hopes have to be structured more with reality to make your dreams come true in the future. And then moving on to Mercury. Mercury is just ingressed here into Aries, giving you an opportunity to use your plans and be more direct and more independent in the ways that you can communicate with others, but use the period up until around the 18th of March, because Mercury in Aries will be going retrograde. And during the retrograde period, that's a pre-shadow period starting. Mercury is retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April. And then for 2 weeks after the 24th of April, takes you up to around the 15th of May. So use this 8-day pocket of time to be forthright in your plans and your ideas. And if you have a contract to sign or plans to make, do it now before the shadow period and the Mercury retrograde period. There was recently the Cazimi happening in your 11th house of dreams, where the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury were all in the same degrees here on the 28th of February. You know, there was maybe a culmination point of sudden insight where Mercury, planet of the gods of communication, and Saturn, structure, and your sun, the ambitions and your soul's purpose, all came together and gave you some insight of something that you'd like to achieve in your long-term goals. So Jupiter is the ruler now of the new moon, the traditional ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the modern ruler, and Jupiter for thousands of years, if you follow ancient astrological text and training, is the modern day ruler of Pisces, as well as Sagittarius. So Jupiter has been blessing your first house related to you, how you show up in the world. You're at the helm of the ship. It's about your identity, your personality, your vitality, your psychology. Jupiter's been blessing this first house of Taurus since last May 2023, and will be here until the 25th of May, spending a year in this sign. And there's a co-presence of Uranus here, who is about finding a way to break the mold, to be more independent, and sometimes throwing a curved ball into the mix. Uranus is about breaking free. And as a Taurian, you're a fixed sign, and maybe you don't like to break free too much. Maybe you like to hold on to what you know. So change can be disruptive for you, but Uranus does bring you an opportunity to be more independent, to think outside the box, to use unusual or different ideas that can help you grow as a person, because these planets are both together in your first house. And also they will be conjoined. Let me see when the date is. The energy of the conjunction starts to build around the 3rd of April. and they will be exactly conjoined on the 21st of April at 21 degrees Taurus 49 minutes. So pay attention around the beginning of April to any new opportunities, any exciting challenges that may come up for you that might be opportunistic in the future. And this separating conjunction is active till the 8th of May. So, you know, this is quite a long-term conjunction it's for about a month, just over a month. And then just after the beginning of this conjunction, there is a solar eclipse in Aries in your hidden house here, the 12th house of Aries. So again, that gives you the opportunity to make plans behind the scenes here. So I hope that's helpful for you, Taurus ascendants, and good luck with that. So next I'll be moving on to Gemini ascendant. Hi there, Gemini ascendant. As we can see, we've got this new moon in Pisces happening in a very dynamic area of your chart. This is the 10th house, which was known in ancient times to be known as the house of praxis. It's directly above in the heavens, and it represents what you're seen to do in the public eye. So if you're of the working age, it can be related to your career and your occupation. If you're retired and you're always looking after your grandchildren, for example, it could be that's your social status, you're always out there. Or if you work for a charity, it could be that whatever you're seen to do and your reputation in the world at large. So this new moon offers an opportunity for planting seeds to do things differently in the future. We've got the sun and the moon conjoined at 20 degrees here, and we've got Saturn encouraging you to reflect upon your responsibilities or how you plan your work life or your public life. What have you learned? What skills have you got that you can implement? Are you wiser now? And you've got the dreams and the creativity of Neptune, the modern day ruler of Pisces. So there's all this blend of energy here for you to potentially plant seeds of something new that you can bring to the fore over the next lunar cycles. So if you work with shorter lunar cycles, some plans may come to fruition around the 25th of March, 2024, when there's a lunar eclipse in Virgo, or 6 months later. That's a whole period of time where this new moon can come to its fruition of full moon in Pisces, and that's on the 18th of September, 2024, lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then even further afield, for more longer term plans that are going to need more planning, it may come to fruition around the total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025. So Mercury is your ruler, as you probably know, if you know anything about astrology. And Mercury has recently moved out of detriment in Pisces, where Mercury, the messenger of the gods, about mind, communications, travels, plans, ideas, it's very nebulous, you know, because Pisces is that flowing fish. It's changeable. It goes with the flow. It follows the shoal of the fish. So it's known to be Mercury in Pisces is known to be in detriment because it's in the opposite sign to what it rules in Virgo down here. So Mercury has now moved into the dynamic first sign of the zodiac, Aries, ruled by Mars, and Mars is much more impatient, impulsive, courageous, and bold. So there's an opportunity for you to use your mind in a more dynamic way, especially in the next 8 days following this new moon on the 10th of March, because after that, we have the shadow period before Mercury goes retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April. But then if you put the pre-shadow period on 2 weeks before that, it takes you to, what period did I say before? It's 2 weeks before the 2nd of April. Is it? Yeah, it's basically around the 18th of March. That is the pre-shadow period, and then it continues after the 24th of April. So that would be after the 9th of May to the 15th of May. That's when you can make plans, sign contracts, and forge ahead with these Aryan ideas that may be coming to the fore. Some passion or impulsive or insightful, bold moments of courage that may be coming to your mind in the next 8 days following the new moon. Do something about it, maybe reflect upon it while Mercury is retrograde. and you know, expect there to be delays or miscommunications or tech problems during the Mercury retrograde period. And then after Mercury moves into the direct phase, out of the shadow period, after the 9th of May to the 15th of May, then you can pick up where you'd left off with these original ideas when there's that direct movement. And there's also a brief sextile coming from Mercury to Pluto up here. So Mercury is in your house of Jupiter's joy, your wishes, your dreams, your hopes for the future. And there's a sense of Pluto just having moved into Aquarius here in your 9th house of understanding, the higher mind, the house of God. So this has given you some helpful, it's a short-term aspect, but it's a sort of flowing aspect, the nature of Venus between Pluto, the powerful god of the underworld, you know, ideas that maybe come to you through your seeking, through truth finding, through your knowledge of using your higher mind, further education, spiritual or religious pursuits, things like that. So that's quite a nice energy there that's supporting Mercury. And also we have Saturn separating from, well, there's Jupiter to Saturn there. It's 12 degrees to the 11 degrees of Pisces there. So there's a sextile between Jupiter in your hidden house where he's been since May last year and will be here till the 25th of May. So there's a sense of definitely working behind the scenes, thinking deeply within yourself, you know, your deeper subconscious mind, where Jupiter has been gracing you over this last period of time since last May. There's a sense of, you know, recognizing things deep within you that are more spiritual or more inner, more to do with your subconscious, your dream world, any mystical insights or spiritual pursuits that you've been developing in a place of retreat and privacy. And that gives you a sense of growth, helping you understand your place in life, which may inform how you change your work-life patterns as well, with this sense of finding power and more understanding of your place in the world and how you look out and understand things. And Uranus is also here co-present with Jupiter in the 12th house here. And they will be making an exact conjunction on the 20th of April. But building up to this, you can maybe feel the energies around the 2nd, 3rd of April, just before the solar eclipse, which is also happening around the 8th of April in your house up here of your hopes and dreams. So there's opportunities if something comes along in April, beginning of April, you know, for about a month, recognize what they are. And if you feel bold, go with this sort of unexpected journey that can help enrich your life and create new beginnings that may open some different things for you in the future. And also you've got the continuing conjunction here of Chiron, the wounded healer, with Rahu, the severed north node of the moon, the severed head of the dragon, which wants to achieve and be successful and accomplish things and take in with this insatiable sort of urge. And Chiron in Aries is also related to wounds that we carry. So it's something to do with, I don't know whether it's more about your beliefs and your hopes and wishes and being too fearful to dream too big, or it could be about something about wounds that we carry in our social groups, because it's the house of our allies, benefactors in ancient times, and finding your place within those social circles, perhaps. So I hope that's helpful for you, Geminis. Thanks for listening. And again, press the subscribe button if you can, if you'd like to encourage me to carry on with these sharings. Bear with me when I get a bit glitchy. Sometimes I go out of my brain, gets a bit too nebulous with them. Neptune opposite Uranus in my own personal chart at the moment. So sometimes I have sudden insights of clarity and sometimes it gets a bit dreamy. So thanks for bearing with me. Hi there, Cancerian ascendants, sun or moon if you don't know your time of birth. Here you can see we have this new moon up here in Pisces, and it's in what was known to be the house of God in ancient times. It's the house of the higher mind, truth finding, understanding in the world, your outlook and your place, finding reality in the wider world. and it can involve places of study or pilgrimages or spiritual pursuits or further education. So we have this new moon with the sun and the moon conjoined at 20 degrees Pisces, sandwiched between Saturn here. He is the Chronos, Lord of Time, the taskmaster. He is trying to encourage you to create boundaries, use your skills and your wisdom here in this house, where perhaps you could be the teacher using your own wisdom, depending on your age, of course, and your life experience. But it's about really creating boundaries and structure, recognizing your limitations and how that can grow and change. And then you've got the Neptune, the modern day ruler of Pisces, also in this house, bringing in inspiration, divine inspiration, dreams, your imagination, spirituality. So this is all happening, this new moon in this house of God in Pisces. So there, if you're planting seeds of something new here, there's the opportunity for you to bring something to the fore in the future. And the new moon cycle can come to fruition around 2 weeks' time. If it's a short-term project that you're planning and you're really ambitious and focused, which is quite tricky with Pisces energy, because it's like, oh, well, let's just go with the flow. Let's just trust what comes, you know. But Saturn does encourage you to use your sense of discipline and structure and, you know, reality, seeing what's missing, seeing what needs to be filled, what structures need to be put in place. But it could come to fruition around the 25th of March, 2024, when there's a lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Virgo. Or 6 months later, that's when this new moon in Pisces goes round the wheel of the zodiac and comes to full fruition at full moon in Pisces. And that would be on the 18th of September 2024, a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Or longer term plans perhaps would be further afield. The total lunar eclipse is on the 7th of September 2025. So life, you know, doesn't always happen when we want it, and there can be the necessity sometimes to be patient, to endure, to persevere, and that's very much keywords for Saturn. So we have recently had a Cazimi in this house here, when the Sun and Saturn and Mercury were all conjoined on the 28th of February. So when planets are in the heart of the sun, it's described as being on the throne with the god, you know, the one that has the power. That's the sun. We can't live without the sun on earth. So when planets are totally at the same degree and minute of the same degree as the sun, it gives empowerment to the planets. So Saturn and Mercury, the mind and plans and structures all coming together. So maybe you've had time to create new ideas, using plans for ambitions to help power you up for the future in this area of the 9th house of either further study, education, foreign shores, inspiration from further afield. And now we have Mercury having recently just moved into Aries, the bold sign of the zodiac, the impulsive ram. So communications can now be more direct. You can use your courage and bravery and boldness and independence to communicate and make plans. However, just use the next 8 days following this new moon, so up until the 18th, because then Mercury is entering the shadow period before Mercury goes retrograde back in this area, and it's in your 10th house. So the 10th house of praxis, what you're seen to do in the world, the house related to your occupation and your career, your social reputation. If you're not working, it's your vocations and what you're actively doing in the public world. But Mercury is highlighting this area of your life, and there could be a period of deep reflection, going back over your ideas and plans. Maybe if you want to start something new here, use this energy up till the 18th, because there's the shadow period from the 19th of March, and then Mercury goes retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April, and then comes out of the shadow period 2 weeks after the 24th of April. So what was that? Let me look back at my notes. Yeah, around the 8th of May. So Mercury will be able to pick up your ideas and move and forge forward between the 9th of May and the 15th of May, when he's moving direct and out of that shadow period, which I'll remind you again is the 2nd of April to the 24th of April, but we add 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after to have that clarity and space. And Mercury tends to move quite slowly as he's approaching the stationing before going retrograde and coming out and going direct. So during any Mercury retrograde period, you know, specifically for you Cancerians, it will be a time of revising, reviewing, revisiting, revisioning, reassessing your career world or the things that you want to do and show up in the world with. So it's a good time to use the Mercury retrograde to go back over and not sign contracts or make plans and travels during that period of time, because Mercury retrograde has been renowned for being connected with miscommunications, delays with transport, disruptions with travel plans, tech problems, things like that. So you may slowly be building your self-belief in this public sphere of your life as well, because we've got the wounded healer Chiron here, conjoined with the north node of the moon, Rahu, the severed head of the dragon. And this conjunction highlights things around your own self-worth, your own abilities. So healing wounds around these topics and being seen by people in this public sphere of your life. But the Luminids do trine 30, 60, 90, 120, your house of Cancer. So this is supporting you, you know, this intuition, the Piscean intuition and dreams, and your caring nature of how you show up in the world. It's given you a sense of support from this trine, which is the nature of Jupiter. And talking about Jupiter, Jupiter is continuing to bless you in your the house of Jupiter's joy. So that's quite nice. Jupiter's joy is about, it's the 11th house, and it's about your dreams, your wishes, your aspirations for the future. And it can be benefits that come in from your career life if because it's a second derived house from the 10th house of career. And also Uranus is up there. So there's a sense that you could be being given support from community groups around you that see your worth, see your gifts, and support you to bring them to the fore, because this is also known to be the house of benefactors. So there's opportunities, sudden opportunities, unexpected events that may be coming up for you with this Uranus here, bringing in the curved ball, bringing in the shocking or exciting thing, innovative thoughts to this area here. And there will be an exact conjunction happening with Uranus and Jupiter here, exact around the 20th of April, but you will feel it as Jupiter is applying to conjoin with Uranus. And so that starts around the 3rd of April until the 8th of May. And the 3rd of April is just before the total solar eclipse in Aries, which is in your house of career. So that's very exciting for you, Cancer, ascendant, sun or moons. But remember, when there's a total solar eclipse, with any eclipses, something is not being fully illuminated, something's being blocked out, so you can't see everything in this area related to your dreams and your career world. So just be aware of that whilst enjoying the ride. So thanks for listening, Cancer. See you next time. And again, press the subscribe button if you'd like to support me. I appreciate that so much. Hi there, Leo ascendant, suns or moons, if you don't know your time of birth. Here we can see that this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 8th house here. We've got the sun and the moon at 20 degrees, cushioned between Saturn, Kronos, Lord of Time, the taskmaster, the most distant planet of the solar system, and Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, who brings in nebulous ideas and confusion, but inspiration and faith and spirituality. So this new moon offers an opportunity for you to plant seeds of new intention. This house is quite a sensitive house. It's the 8th house, which is called the idle place, and it can be related to topics around shared resources, money from your partner if you have a partner, money that comes in from others. It's a sense of karmic debt here, And in ancient times, it was to do with the esteem of others. So how you feel others judge you, perhaps. So Neptune can bring some nebulous, confusing energies to the table, whilst Saturn here tries to instill some boundaries, structures, and limitations to this Pisces area of your life, which, you know, Pisces is the fish that swim in opposite directions. So there's a very fluid, restless, changeable area, energy going on in this area of your life, the 8th house here. But it is possible, using the new moon energies, to plant seeds of new beginnings, intentions that may involve perhaps bringing a sense of balance and cooperation into this area of your life, that may bring up anxieties and fears as well, because this place, this 8th house, is also related to death, endings, mysterious realms, the occult. It's related to inheritances and things like that. So there may be a new beginning coming in from benefits from inheritances and things like that. It's all part of life. We can't escape it. So anything that we do plant seeds of, with ideas to bring to fruition for the future related to this area of your life, may come to fruition short term by the 25th of March 2024, when there's a lunar eclipse in Virgo, or 6 months later when the new moon in Pisces comes to its fruition point of full moon in Pisces, and that's on the 18th of September 2024. And also further afield, there is a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025, if there's a long-term plan that's going to need more time to unfold. So there was also recently the Cazimi, where the Sun and the Mercury and Saturn were all conjoined at the same degree as the Sun, so given extra power. Mercury, the planet of ideas and thoughts and communications, Saturn about structure, the Sun about your ambitions and your purpose in life. They were all conjoined by degree and minute, giving extra power to these planets, Mercury and Saturn, on the 28th of February, which may have helped power up some ideas that you hope to implement in the future. So Mercury, the planet of communication, has recently left this Piscean house, where he's in detriment in the opposite sign to that which he rules in Virgo. He's now in a bold sign of the zodiac, fiery Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the ram that likes to rush in, be impulsive, slightly impatient maybe. There could be some frustrations with things not moving quite as fast as you like here. Mercury is also related to contracts, selling, and travel. And he's now in your 9th house of truth finding. And he makes a brief sextile to Pluto here. So the sextile is the nature of Venus, something harmonious in the house of relationships. Pluto's recently moved into your 7th house of relationships. So there can be some intense energies happening here between power play, control, finding something that works for you within your very personal relationships. But Mercury giving a sextile here from this house of God, the higher mind, should lend some support here. It's a very brief sextile between the 10th and 12th of March, maybe using unique ideas, thinking outside the box. So when Mercury is about to go retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April, and add on 2 weeks before that, so around the 18th, 19th of March, 8 days following this new moon, there's going to be a shadow period. So just any plans that you've got to move ahead with, any contracts that you've got to sign, do it before the shadow period, which begins around the 18th of March, or wait until around, what's the date? I've got between the 19th of March and the 8th of May. It's maybe wise not to sign any contracts, because Mercury is either retrograde or in the shadow period. So, you know, miscommunications can happen, the whole story, or there could be non-clarity around these things here. So make the most of these 8 days before the shadow period of this new moon, because Mercury can cause problems, delays, miscommunications. So try not to rush things that you'd like to get sorted and double check the details, because there can be definite confusions, delays, and miscommunications, as I was just saying there. So Jupiter and Uranus are continuing to be in your 10th house of your public house of praxis up here. Jupiter has been here since May 2023 and will be here until the end of May, 25th of May 2024, because Jupiter spends about 1 year in each sign of the zodiac. So meandering through this 10th house of your public visibility should lend some positive energies to you and opportunities to how you're being seen in the public eye. But remember as well, Uranus up there does bring in unexpected, sometimes shocking, destabilizing events, or maybe there's a rebellion that's instilled in you that is seen publicly as well. And there will be a conjunction exact on the 20th of April, but coming into an effect around the 3rd of April until about the 8th of May. So these energies or opportunities are bringing something that are there for you to use if you choose to. Giving you some support here, but there's also going to be a new moon solar eclipse on the 8th of April, which is related to your 9th house, which is Aries for you. And this house, as well as being known as the house of God, it's also the house which is related to things like decision makers such as courts and lawyers, solar figures that have power that make decisions for you. So there's a new moon solar eclipse happening on the 8th of April in this house for you. But yeah, just to bear that in mind. So you may also be feeling sensitive with Chiron and the north node of the moon up here in this 9th house of understanding your higher mind, how you can identify with the reality of life and make it all make sense for you. And it's about healing some wounds here, because Chiron and Aries is also very much related to your own abilities, your own skills, and it's about healing wounds that you have around those topics. So the luminaries will be giving a helpful trine to Uranus as well from this 8th house, 20 degrees to 19 degrees here. They're still in a helpful, is it trine or sextile, sorry, a sextile energy here. So there's something encouraging you to be independent and maybe something liberating for you that may unfurl over the next cycle of this moon. So I hope that's helpful for you, Leo, and thanks for listening. See you next time, and moving on now to Virgo. Hi there, Virgo, ascendant, sun or moon, if you don't know your time of birth. This new moon is happening in a very dynamic area of your chart. It's the 7th house of your personal relationships, and it's very, you know, it has a lot of power with the luminaries here. We've got the sun and the moon at, get my arrow, 20 degrees of Pisces, and we have Saturn here, also cushioning, and Neptune here. Saturn's at 11 degrees Pisces and Neptune's at 27 degrees Pisces. So this 7th house is an angle of the chart. It's very much related to how you interact with others. This can be in a romantic way, your personal private relationships like marriage or romance. And it also can relate to business relationships. If you serve the public in any way, if you have a role, they can be your audience, they can be your customers. But it's very much about offering you an opportunity to start something new, plant new seeds, and create something new. If you're in a long-term relationship, perhaps this is about bringing something new to the table as well, about how you interact with your partner in relationships that you can bring to the fore. Using these new moon energies, if it's a short-term project that you'd like to bring to the table and complete, it could be by the 25th of March 2024, when there's a lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Virgo, or some 6 months later, this new moon in Virgo comes to fruition, and it's full moon in Virgo on the 18th of September 2024 at the full moon lunar eclipse. And there's a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025 for a much longer term project that you may be trying to bring to fruition and culmination. So Mercury, the planet of communication, selling, contracts, travel, has just moved into your 8th house here of Aries, which, get my arrow, is much more fired up and able to be driven and be bold and courageous using your ideas and plans. And this is in the 8th house of shared resources. It's about what others bring to the table for you as well. It could be your partner's money, money from others, money that comes in from other sources other than your daily work. It can be grants, it can be inheritances, it can be tax rebates, it can be related to mortgages and money and things like that. But Mercury, he can be mercantile, about selling things as well, but it can be about plans and ideas and journeys and things like that. And he's making a brief sextile to Pluto in your 6th house of work, chores, health. So there's a sextile energy between this planet Mercury, messenger of the gods, and Pluto, Hades, god of the underworld, who's recently gone into your 6th house of daily life, work routines, your health, and it can be related to pets. There's some positive flow happening here from this house of service and to Mercury in this house of shared resources. So maybe encouraging you to use your unique ideas and thinking outside the box with a sense of boldness. And this is a short-term aspect just between the 10th and the 12th of March. However, Mercury, although he's moved out of detriment, he was in the sign where he's nebulous and not able to be quite as focused when he was in Pisces. He's just moved in here to Aries, but he is about to go retrograde shortly on the 2nd of April to the 24th of April, with the shadow periods 2 weeks before. So this covers the 19th of March to the 8th of May, if we sandwich 2 weeks on before the pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde in Aries in your 8th house, and 2 weeks after when he goes direct, that takes you to the 8th of May. So if you have any plans that involve partnership with others, use this next 8 days to use the dynamic energy of Mercury in Aries before the retrograde or shadow period happens, and then maybe mull over, reflect, revise, revisit, rethink things during the 2nd of April to the 24th of April and right up to the 8th of May, and maybe pick up again around the 9th of May to the 15th of May, planning to take things forward after Mercury clears the shadow period after going direct. And certainly, you know, times that Mercury is retrograde, there can be some frustrations, delays, miscommunications, tech problems, and problems with transport and journeys and things like that. But there's always the positive thing of going back over plans and ideas, studies, your things about what you plan to do in the future, interactions with others in this 8th house here. So yeah, good luck with that. And what else have we got? Chiron is also in your 8th house. Chiron, the wounded healer, is conjoined with Rahu, the north node of the moon, the severed head of the dragon. There's a sense of maybe trying to heal wounds around your feelings of self-worth and how you feel others may view you, perhaps, because it's the 8th house is the esteem of others in ancient times. So it's trying to find your place, self-belief, what you can bring to the table in capacities of shared relationships here. And Pluto, having recently ingressed into your 6th house here, is encouraging you to, you know, you're going to be encountering lots of shifts and changes over the next 20 years because Pluto hasn't been in this area of your life apart from dipping his toe in last year. It's going to be big shifts. This is Mars's joy, your daily life, your work, your service to others, self-sacrifice, and your health. There's going to be lots of changes happening here, and it may involve some deep cathartic inner work where you can look into the darker shadows of fears and anxieties, but use and renew yourself, purge out, set new routines that are healthy for you so that you can find your own treasures within and use your power and unique gifts that you can offer to the world, with a sense of sharing. In this Aquarian house is about the collective. So that's something to bear in mind for you. That is a very slow moving transit for 20 years. And where are we? Jupiter is the ruler of this new moon, and Jupiter is up here in your 9th house of Taurus at 12 degrees, co-present with Uranus here. This is the house of the higher mind, the house of God, truth finding, understanding. It's about wisdom, and perhaps, depending on your age, you may be the person that people come to so that you can impart your wisdom and be the teacher to others, depending on what you're bringing to the table and if that's relevant for you. There will be a conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus. You may feel it building around the 3rd of April up until the, is it the 8th of May? Yeah, the 8th of May. And there's an exact conjunction on the 20th of April, where Jupiter and Uranus are completely conjoined. So Uranus can bring sudden, innovative, electric light bulb moments of something new, and Jupiter is optimistic, expansive, and very much about opportunities and potentials and growth and good fortune. So there could be something very exciting coming to the fore in this house that may be stimulating your higher mind. It could be related to further education, long distance travel, things like that, and teaching, truth finding. So good luck with that. But bear in mind also on the 8th of April, there will be a total solar eclipse, and that will be in your 8th house here of Aries. So solar eclipses, again, they bring a new beginning, but there is something obscured, something not quite clear, because the light is hidden. Some of the energy of the visibility of the light from the solar fire of the sun is eclipsed. So, you know, remember that it's important to maybe be mindful to take time around commitments with others around that time in that shared house, and use your meticulous Virgoan natures and qualities of discernment. So good luck with that, Virgo ascendants. Thanks for listening, and I'll be moving on now to the next sign. Hi there, Libra ascendants, sun or moon, if you don't know your time of birth. As you can see, this new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees is happening in your 6th house. In ancient times, this was known as the house of Mars's joy. So it can be sometimes a house to do with your co-workers in your daily life. It can sometimes be the house of conflict, but it's also related to your sense of self, your health, your well-being, your duties and self-sacrifice. So Pisces is the watery sign of the fish. It's nebulous, it's changeable, it's compassionate, it's flowing, it's restless, it's very flexible and fluid. It's this feminine water sign of the zodiac. So at this new moon, if you use the moon for new intentions, to plant things for the future, to embark upon, this is going to be related to doing things differently in your everyday life of ritual, work, and service to others. More short term, this could come to fruition around the 25th of March 2024, when there's a lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Virgo, or 6 months later, around the 18th of September, there's a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, when this new moon comes right round to its fullest. And even more longer term, there's a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September 2025. So that's much further afield. So the ruler, your ruler, Venus, is also about to conjoin. Let me just get my, what have I got here? Venus is also about to conjoin the stellium of planets on the 12th of March. You can see her at the moment. She's at the end of Aquarius. And when she moves into your 6th house of Pisces, this is a great house for her, because that's where Venus is exalted. So she's going to be lending her sensitive, calming energies here unifying energies, caring energies to this area of your life. So maybe she will bring more harmony to relationships with your co-workers, or maybe because she's about values and also finances, maybe there can be some benefits that come to your daily work. And she will be here until the 4th of April in this area of life. And she will also conjoin Neptune around the 28th of, around 28 degrees on the 4th, later on, just at the end before she goes into Aries. So there's these flowing energies here, new beginnings here in your daily life. There's also a brief sextile between Mercury, where are you, Mercury, here, and Pluto in your 5th house of Aquarius from your 7th house of relationships here. This is happening between the 10th and 12th of March. So there's a healthy flow coming from ideas, shared communications in your personal relationship life or even business relationship life, where you're able to be more assertive, use your own independence and courageous thought processes to the sense of power in your relationships, your love, Venus's joy, the 5th house, something around how you show up in your romantic life or use your creativity, or could be related to pregnancy and children. So something positive there. However, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April. So use the next 8 days up until the 18th of March to use your own independent thoughts, ideas, and plans. If you are going to sign contracts, it's best to do this before Mercury goes into the shadow period between the 19th of March and ending 2 weeks after the Mercury retrograde on the 8th of May. So it's best not to sign contracts or check the details. If you have to sign a contract, check all the details on important documents, because there could be something that's not very clear, some non-clarity around some topics and potential miscommunications. Mercury retrograde can also bring delays, transport problems, issues with technology and things like that. That can be frustrating, especially with Mercury in Aries that wants to forge ahead and do things quite quickly. So just bear that in mind. And then after the 9th of May to the 15th of May, Mercury will be able to pick up ideas that you maybe start between the new moon and the 18th of March. After the 9th of May to the 15th of May, you can maybe pick up those pieces and forge on ahead and carry them through, carry on with your plans that you've got there when there's the direct period of Mercury there. So Jupiter, the ruler of this new moon, is in your 8th house, which is related to either joint resources, shared resources, karmic debt. It's the esteem of others. There's some benefits there coming from Jupiter, who rules rules Pisces. This continues to bring you blessings and something like gifts from others, perhaps. How you are seen, the esteem of others. Jupiter is giving you blessings here. You're seen in a very positive way, and you may be gifted things here, especially unexpected gifts that come in from others here. And Jupiter will remain here until the 25th of May, because Jupiter spends about 1 year in each sign of the zodiac, taking 12 years to go around the whole zodiac. And as you can see, there's a co-presence of Uranus here. Uranus, the planet of innovation, independence, rule breaking, awakening, new ideas, innovations, and at the same time destabilization, disruption, shocking events, unpredictable things that are happening. So sudden, unpredictable shifts may be happening in relation to your shared resources. This is also the house to do with mortgages, inheritances, money from others. That's not coming from your everyday life. So there's opportunities here for something positive to be coming your way. And this exact conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter is on the 20th of April, but you may feel it building up as Jupiter is applying within the 3-degree orb to Uranus, and that will start around the 3rd of April and be in effect with the separating, moving away until the 8th of May. But there's also a solar eclipse in on the 8th of April, which is happening in this. Let me get my arrow instead of the circle. There's a total solar eclipse happening in April in this house of your personal relationships. So there's something new also happening here, which will unfold over the next lunar cycles. Just remembering as well, though, at the time of a solar eclipse, there is something obscured during this. So be mindful to take time and not rush too much into things with Aries on that house cusp, the sign of the ram, that it wants to just be bold and just impulsive. Just try to slow things down and look at all the fine details. And you've also got a conjunction between Chiron here and the north node of the moon, Rahu, that's wanting to succeed within relationships, but there's wounds around what you can do independently, and maybe there's challenges around still maintaining a sense of your own independence whilst achieving positive results within your personal relationships. So what else have we got? I believe that might be it. Yeah, that is it. So I hope that's helpful for you, Libra and Ascendants, and good luck with that. Thanks for listening. I'll be now moving on to Scorpio Ascendant. Just to say, again, if you'd like to support me in putting out more astrological videos, I really appreciate it if you can subscribe. Press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything, and like or comment below if anything of this is resonating with you. I really appreciate that. Thanks very much. So hi, Scorpio Ascendants, Sun or Moon, if you don't know your time of birth. As we can see the Sun and the Moon and Saturn and Neptune all in this house of Venus's joy, this 5th house here of Pisces. So the Sun and the Moon are at 20 degrees Pisces conjoined. We've got Saturn, the taskmaster, the most distant planet of the solar system that the ancient ones could see with the naked eye, representing limitation, structure, what's missing, resourcefulness, perseverance, mastery, patience. He's Kronos, Lord of Time. He's encouraging a sense of make some boundaries, make some plans, put something in place in this nebulous flowing area around the Pisces energy, which is very sensitive, flowing, adaptable, moving, and slightly restless energy. He wants to create some structure to use these energies of Pisces, which are very imaginative, sensitive, intuitive, and expansive in this area of romance, creativity, love, children, can be pregnancy, creative pursuits such as your own entrepreneurial ideas. And Neptune, the modern day ruler of Pisces, is also blessing this house. But with the two different energies, Saturn restricts and limits, and Neptune wants to expand and take in and just feel all of these positive, inspirational, imaginative, sometimes dreamy ideas, but sometimes that can be confusing and delusional and depleting. So you've got the mix of all these different energies, and if there's something new that you'd like to start in this area of your life, it could be related to a new romantic relationship. It could be related to something new creatively that you want to bring to the world. It could be related to a pregnancy. It could be many things in this 5th house of Venus's joy. And in the short term, if you have a new project that you'd like to start along these lines, it could come to fruition in 2 weeks' time, around the 25th of March 2024, the lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Virgo, or 6 months later, when this new moon in Pisces comes to its full moon fruition on the 18th of September, full moon in Pisces, or even longer term plans might come to fruition on the total lunar eclipse around the 7th of September 2025. So also thinking about Venus just now, because Venus will also be moving into this house of Pisces shortly. She's going to be bringing energy into this Piscean house where she's exalted, and she will be in this house until the 4th of April, bringing blessings, good fortune, peace, love, beauty, joy, values around what's important to you on an emotional level. There could be some blessings there if you take risks with some sort of gambling, because Venus is about finances as well. So there's opportunities coming together. It could be about coming together in a love relationship romantically, might bring some new potential there, especially when she conjoins Neptune around 28 degrees Pisces, the blend of Venus in Pisces exalted with romantic inspired Neptune, bringing in those ethereal, romantic, dreamy energies. That could be something that happens for you. Scorpio ascendants, sun or moon. There was recently a cazimi on the 28th of February in this area of your life when the sun, Mercury, the planet of communication, how you share your ideas, talk, write, express yourself, and Saturn, the planet of structure, wisdom, were all conjoined in the heart of the sun, given extra power. So when planets are within the same degree and minute, it's called cazimi point, and it's giving extra power, being graced with extra skills. So perhaps around the 28th of February, something relevant was happening in this zone of Venus's joy for you, and it helped power up some ideas that you may be able to implement in the future, bringing some insight and illumination to how you share your ideas within the areas of romance, fun, or creativity. Thinking about Mercury, Mercury has just moved into Aries, out of detriment in Pisces. So when Mercury was in detriment in Pisces, ideas may have been a bit too fluid and hard to pin down and be very focused upon, because Mercury rules the opposite sign of Virgo, so is known to be in detriment in Pisces. However, now Mercury has moved into the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, the ram, is bold, more courageous, more impatient, more dynamic. And so there's this fiery energy here that is happening in your house of work. Mercury is in the 6th house of Mars's joy, which is about your work, your routines, your health. And it's powered up and, as I was saying, is more decisive and bold. And Mercury makes a brief sextile aspect to Pluto, which is in your house of home and family, roots and property, between the 10th and 12th of March. There's this Venusian flowing sextile aspect between your planet of communication and your work, and something to do with your home and your roots. So that something positive there is giving you some energy that can be powerful in relation to your home and your roots. Maybe changes here with Pluto about death and endings and rebirth, or finding a sense of power, how you want to forge forward using your ideas of independence here. And Mercury will be moving retrograde in the 6th house of Aries. So use the next period between the 10th of March and the 18th of March to use your ideas and plans, put things in place, plan trips, sign contracts, do your writing before the shadow period begins, which will be between the 19th of March and continue after the retrograde period to the 8th of May, because retrograde Mercury is between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April. But we add 2 weeks before that and 2 weeks after. Those are the pre-shadow and post-shadow periods. That's when Mercury is free of being too slow or going backwards as viewed from our geocentric point of view. So just use the 8 days following this new moon to make your plans, revise things, reflect on things, go back over things, reassess things during the retrograde period and the shadow period. And then after, what date is it? Around the 9th of May to the 15th of May, that's when you can pick up these ideas and forge ahead in your daily work. Maybe it's to do with making new routines in your life that are healthy for you and your well-being as well. Something around independence and doing things differently. And you can pick these pieces up, ideas that you plant around the beginning of between the 10th and the 18th, pick them up again around the sorry, I'm having a mental block here. I've just said it as well. I haven't had my breakfast yet as well, and this takes a long time, so bear with me. Sorry about that. Yeah, but after the 8th of May, so the 19th to the 9th to the 15th of May, you can pick up your ideas and your plans here in this house of your work and your health. So I hope that's helpful for you. And, you know, bearing in mind that if you have to make sign contracts or make plans or go on journeys, check the details, double check things, and just be aware that there could be delays. So be flexible, check the fine print, expect problems with your technology and setbacks and things like that. And know that communications can be a bit confused and not so clear during the Mercury retrograde period. So Jupiter, the ruler of this moon, is in your 7th house, a dynamic house of your chart. Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces in ancient times. So Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system, is gracing your 7th house of personal relationships. It could be business relationships. It could be your audience, who you serve, if you've got a job that you have a public sphere. So Jupiter offers opportunities and gifts, recognition, rewards, maybe also, what's the word when you are given a more of a higher role in your life? As you can see, I'm totally losing my thread here. But anyway, Jupiter is expansive. Jupiter is beneficial. Jupiter offers expansion and blessings and gifts you. And Uranus is also there, but he is more about independence and breaking free, being awakened, liberated. So there's a sense of different energies here. They can be exciting, but with Uranus here, there could be something really shocking and unexpected. And this is in your house of personal relationships. So it may be that you do suddenly have a relationship that's not planned, or you could be drawn to somebody that represents somebody that's quite rebellious and thinks outside the box. And this energy will be applying from the 3rd of April, when Jupiter is applying to conjoin with Uranus. It's exact around the 20th of April, but will still be in effect until I think it was the 8th of May. So there's an energy of something potentially happening here in your relationships world or your audience, and something unexpected that may be bringing up opportunities for you if you choose to take them. Bearing in mind that there is a solar eclipse on the 8th of April, which is happening in your house of Aries, in your everyday life. So there is something new as well happening here, potentially. It could be related to your health as well, but a solar eclipse, it brings new beginnings, but also remember that there's some obscuring of the light with any solar eclipse. So just be prepared for some unusual, exciting changes happening in this area of your life. And I hope that's helpful for you, Scorpio ascendants. So next I will be moving on to Sagittarius. Hi there, Sagittarius ascendants, sun or moon if you don't know your time of birth. Here we can see this new moon in Pisces happening in your 4th house of home and family, roots and property, the land, where you belong, ancestry. So there's the sun and the moon at 20 degrees Pisces, the luminaries, and we also have Saturn on one side bookending, Saturn, Lord of time, Chronos, responsibilities, limitations, hardship, structures, sometimes serious sort of sense of burdens, mastery and wisdom and eldership, and also Neptune, the planet that is the modern ruler of Pisces, which is more about inspirations, self-sacrifice, fantasy, romantic ideas, idealism, cushioning this new moon. So there's an opportunity here. There's Pisces house, you know, it's very much related to, it's a symbol of the fish swimming in opposite directions. There's a changeable, fluid, caring, sensitive nature around Pisces. And this is, you know, a chance maybe to change how you do things around your home environment, bearing in mind the lessons that Saturn can bring and harnessing the sensitivity and compassion that Pisces nature has, recognizing that something new can happen for the future. So if you use this new moon, you can use it to make plans for the future, to do something differently that may come to fruition 2 weeks time at the lunar eclipse in Virgo, or 6 months later when this new moon in Pisces comes up to the full moon in Pisces, which is, sorry, 6 months later, there's a full moon in Pisces at on the 18th of September. Is that the lunar eclipse? And then, no, sorry. There's a full moon in Pisces, bear with me, on the 18th of September. That's the lunar eclipse in Pisces. And further afield down the line there's a lunar eclipse on the 7th of September, 2025. So it really depends on how long these plans that you are maybe going to implement will come to fruition, because Saturn does remind us to take our time. Saturn does give us lessons to work with again and again, and Saturn is in Pisces, I think, until 2026, is it, or 2025? I'd have to double check that. So it's basically given you the opportunity to plant something new in this area of life related to home and family. And there was recently a Cazimi here in on the 28th of February, when the Sun was conjoined with Mercury, who's now moved, but was conjoined with the Sun and Saturn at the same degrees and minutes. So when planets are in the heart of the Sun, they're given extra power, extra strength, special energies. They are in the heart of the throne, and there could have been something that came to you related to your home and family and your roots, that you maybe have insight and illuminated how you interact within your home and family. And perhaps this has given you ideas of how you may change things in the future. Mercury is the planet of communications, contracts, selling and travel. He's now recently ingressed into your 5th house of Aries, out of detriment, in the opposite sign where Mercury rules and is exalted in Virgo, when Mercury is in Pisces, because the nebulous nature, the changeable nature, it's not easy to make plans and be so decisive. But now that Mercury is in Aries, the sign of the Ram, the first sign of the Zodiac at the beginning of the astrological year, there's this potential for you to forge ahead with a sense of independence, boldness, and courage, especially up until around the 18th of March, because Mercury will be going retrograde and will start entering the shadow period. Let me just sort the light out. That's starting to come in and flood. Bear with me. Yes, so as I was saying, Mercury is retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April, with a shadow period starting the 19th of March and ending the 8th of May, 2 weeks after the end of the Mercury retrograde period. So use the next 8 days if you have plans around ideas, around creativity related to children, romance, entrepreneurial projects, that you can forge ahead with now with a fiery Mars-ruled Aries sign, or be prepared to take your time during the Mercury retrograde period to go back over things, revisit things, revise things, reassess things. It's like studying again before forging ahead. And between, when is it? It will be the 9th of May till the 15th of May. Mercury will be out of the post-shadow period, and there will be the ability for you to pick up on ideas that have started here at the beginning, between the 10th and the 18th of March. You can pick them up again and continue with them between the 9th of May and the 15th of May, and forge ahead in this area of your pleasures, fun, enjoyment, entrepreneurial projects and things like that, because there can be miscommunications around these topics, delays, tech problems, things like that. So just bear in mind that's going on. And Mercury has just had a brief, we'll be making a brief sextile aspect from this 5th house to your 3rd house of Aquarius here, which is a helpful aspect. And Pluto, recently having moved into this house of Aquarius, encourages you to power up how you communicate within your local environment, maybe in different ways of teaching, sharing your ideas in your local environment, and it's related to travel. And there's a flow here in the sextile aspect between the 10th and the 12th of March to this house of fun and pleasures. So the ruler of this new moon in Pisces is Jupiter, and Jupiter, excuse me, that's my phone. I'm back. Sorry about that. That's the my mobile and my landline rang, so I really apologize about that. Thanks for bearing with me. So, oh. Hi again. Sorry about that. So, I was just talking about the presence of your ruler, Jupiter, in the house of Mars's joy, co-present with Uranus here. So Jupiter has been blessing this house, which is related to your work, your daily life, your sense of service to others, and it's also related to health, physical well-being, and small pets, smaller than a goat, apparently, in ancient astrology. So there should be some blessings coming here. If you've had any health issues, Sagittarians, this can be bringing you some either results from tests or new practices that you can bring into your daily life, which actually help relieve some long-term problems. Uranus can bring unexpected things to the table as well. So this could also indicate some job opportunities that you weren't expecting in your daily life with this innovative Uranus, throwing in the curved ball here. And yeah, they will be conjunct exactly on the 20th, I believe. Let me just get, the 20th of April. But the energy of Jupiter applying to conjoin with Uranus starts around the 3rd of April and will be in a separating orb from Uranus until the 8th of May. So this energy here of this conjunction will be building soon. So Jupiter, being the largest planet of the solar system, usually brings opportunities and gifts, rewards and recognition, something expansive and usually related to good fortune. And Uranus can be unpredictable, shocking, innovative, liberating, rebellious, all of these different energies together. So when you put that into the mix, just see how that unfolds for you and how that applies for you, and put in the comments below if anything resonates to you that comes to fruition during the 3rd of April and the 8th of May. And also thinking about what might be coming up at the beginning of April. There is a solar eclipse on the 8th of April, and this is also in the house related to your children. It's the 5th house here of Aries. So there's something new potentially beginning in this house of romance or children, which is going to start around the 8th of April. And also there's energy here with Chiron, the wounded healer, and Rahu, the north node of the moon, the severed head of the dragon, working together to try and heal some wounds around these topics. It can be to do with love. It can be to do with your children. It's about self-belief. It's about recognizing your own skills here. So it's, yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. So thanks for listening, Sagittarius, and sorry for the interruptions there. It's like, that's a bit Uranian, isn't it? Sudden unexpected phone calls. You ignore them. I stopped the pause. I didn't restart the recording. thought, right, okay, that's the end of that. And then they rang again just when I started pressing the button. So it's just life, isn't it? It's how we adapt to life, but it can take me off on a bit of a tangent there. So thanks for listening, Sagittarius. And next I'll be moving on to Capricorn. Hi there, Capricorn ascendants, sun or moon if you don't know your time of birth. This new moon in Pisces with the sun and the moon at 20 degrees Pisces is happening in your third house, which is a mixed bag. When we think about topics that are related to the third house, they include things like communication, local journeys, teaching, your neighborhood, siblings, distant relatives like aunts and uncles, technology like communications using the internet like YouTube videos and blogs. So this is an opportunity for you to start a new project or plan something new in this area of your life that may come to fruition in 2 weeks' time if it's a short-term project around the 25th of March 2024, or more longer term when there's a lunar eclipse in Virgo 6 months later in the opposite sign of Pisces, and that's on the 18th of September, or even more full scale in the distant future. There's a total lunar eclipse on the 7th of September if the project that you're planning takes more time to bring to fruition, and that involves Saturn, Kronos, Lord of Time, indicating about creating boundaries and being patient and persevering here. When there's different energies going on in this stellium of planets, Saturn is the taskmaster, he encourages us to create boundaries, use structure, use mastery, use our wisdom, recognize what's missing, and try to confine these nebulous flowing energies of Pisces, which tend to be they're very adaptable. It's like currents and shoals of fish swimming in opposite directions, but then going with the flow here and connecting with the immense oceans and the expansiveness of the collective. So that's very much related to Neptune in Pisces, which rules Pisces, the modern day ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, which we'll talk about shortly. So there's a different mix with these Saturn, structure, discipline, routines, Neptune, ideas, imagination, spirituality, cushioning this new moon. And there's potential to blend the two energies together. So what else can we talk about here? We're talking about a brief, well, let's see, there was a unique Cazimi moment also happening in this third house. On the 28th of February, we had, when a Cazimi happens, it's when planets are in the heart of the sun. So where's my arrow? There's the sun here, and Mercury, messenger of the gods, planet of communications, travel, communications, ideas, technology, and Saturn were all conjoined to the same degree and minute as the sun. And that gives extra power and strength to the qualities of using our mind, using our plans, using structures and wisdom. So you may have had some illuminating ideas to power up some ideas that you can implement in the future related to some topics in your local environment, your community, related to siblings, or maybe to teaching. Maybe you're going to start something new and train again, or do something that you can use in communications in the future in your local environment. And Mercury is making a very brief sextile between the 10th and 12th of March from your house of home and family, where he's just ingressed here, this fourth house at the base of the chart, to the sextile in your second house of Aquarius. So there's a healthy, supportive energy flowing between home and family, and also around a sense of your own skills, your own abilities, finding the power for what you can do for yourself in this area of your second house of Aquarius. Mercury is related to communications, teaching, writing, selling, and now he's more dynamic. Now he's just moved into Aries, so out of detriment in the opposite sign to what he rules. His domicile is Virgo, and he's exalted in Virgo. So when Mercury is in the detriment sign, he has less power to be so focused. But now he's just moved into Aries, there is that sense that you can be more dynamic, and it will be in related to topics around the home, family, land, and property. However, Mercury is going to be going retrograde between the 2nd of April and the 24th of April. So there is a pre-shadow period, and that starts on the 19th of March. So if you've got any plans around home and property, ideas about independence, try to get them in place, or if you're signing contracts, do that before the 19th of March. Otherwise, wait until the 9th of May, the post-shadow period, and the 15th of May, where you can pick up your ideas and plans and forge ahead to complete any ideas that you've got happening around now. Because during the retrograde period, where Mercury appears to be moving backwards in the heavens, as viewed from our geocentric point of view, it's a time where our ideas, our thoughts, our plans, our travel, we're having to revise things. We go back, we reflect on things, we reassess things, we revise and revisit and rethink things. It's a good time for that during any Mercury retrograde period. And for you, Capricorn ascendants, it's related to home and family, and maybe roots and property or ancestry, as I was saying before. There is still a conjunction for you in this house of home and family between Rahu, the north node of the moon, the severed head of the dragon that wants to achieve and be successful, and Chiron, the wounded healer. They are conjoined at 17 degrees. And this brings up a sense of your own wounds that you carry. We all have our wounds that we carry in our life, and Chiron brings up what we need to heal. And that is around your own self-worth and your abilities, what you're able to do independently, and it's related to the topics of home and family. So it's given you an opportunity to reflect upon these issues during the Mercury retrograde period as well. And now we've got the ruler of this new moon, Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system, the generous uncle that bestows gifts. He is bringing some positivity to the house of Taurus, the Venus's joy. This is where Jupiter has been since last May, and will continue to grace this area of your life until the 25th of May. He will be making a conjunction to Uranus, the curved bull, the unexpected, the shocking, the innovative, the liberated, the awakener. That energy will be happening around the 3rd of April, applying to that conjunction Jupiter to Uranus exact on the 20th of April, and still be in effect till around the 9th of May, I believe. So there is something unexpected, expansive, and new that potentially could be happening in this house of pleasures, fun, romance, children. Perhaps for some of you Capricorn ascendants, there could be some unexpected pregnancy news within your family, not necessarily yourself, but something creative and beneficial and unexpected could be happening here in this house. And there will be a solar eclipse on the 8th of April in Aries. So there's a potential for something new to be happening around home and family, roots and property. So just remember that during a solar eclipse, not all the light of the sun is being seen. There's something obscured. So just remember to look at the fine print and the fine details there that are happening in that area of your life. So thanks for listening, Capricorn. And now I'll be moving on to Aquarius ascendant. Hi there again, just to say, please press the subscribe button if you're content to listen to my garbled reading today. Sorry, it's been a bit hit and miss, but hopefully you're still being able to gain some insight into the planetary weather and how this may affect you. So moving on to Aquarius ascendant. Hi Aquarius ascendant, sun or moon. If you don't know your time of birth, we can see that this new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees is happening in your 2nd house here. And it's at 20 degrees, cushioned by Saturn, the taskmaster, Kronos, Lord of Time, and Neptune, the nebulous planet of inspiration and creativity, wisdom and dreams, spiritual pursuits. They are both cushioning this new moon here, which has given you the opportunity to begin a new cycle in this life, in this area of life related to your personal skills, your own resources, and perhaps your finances. So the new moon, if you work with the cycles of the moon, it's a dark moon. You can't see any light of the moon. So it's a time to plant the seeds of what you would like to grow in the future. And it's related to long-term security with Saturn here, an opportunity perhaps to step into using more maturity, recognizing your abilities, and maybe filling in the gaps with what you recognize is missing here in this life. Pisces is a mutable sign of the zodiac, feminine, sensitive, intuitive, changeable, and restless. And the modern ruler of Pisces is Neptune, bringing in fantasies and dreams and inspiration from other realms. But Saturn, the elder, the wise one, encourages you to create boundaries and structure your life around any limitations and filling in these gaps around your own resources. So there was recently a Kazemi here on the 28th of February, where the sun and let me bring up my arrow again, the sun and Mercury and Saturn were all together conjoined at the same degree and minute. And when planets are exactly at this point in the heavens, they are given extra power. It's described as being in the heart of the sun and on the throne with the powerful one, the sun representing the most powerful entity in the heavens. So Mercury, the planet of communication and ideas, travel and mercantile pursuits. Saturn, about wisdom, maturity, planning, structures. Maybe that helped power up some moment where you could think about something that could secure you in the future related to topics of your own skills and finances. You've recently had Pluto, which takes 248 years to go around the whole zodiac, move out of your 12th house, hidden house, into this first house here of Aquarius. So he's encouraging you to step out into the world and show yourself, tap into your power, find the treasures of what you've learned while Pluto was in your hidden 12th house. Some of the journeys that you went on may have been quite dark and painful, cathartic, but regenerative. And now you're able to use your knowledge and transform. Obviously, if you're a younger person, Pluto over the next 20 years in this house of Aquarius is going to give you opportunities as well to go through lots of self-realization, endings, beginnings, and renewal in the sense of how you recognize your strengths and your own independent abilities and how you want to show up in the world as well. No matter what age we are, Pluto does give us lessons, working through difficult times, finding the treasures within in the darker aspects of ourselves where we can purge out what we no longer need, face the depths of ourselves and be reborn in a sense of more self-knowledge. So Mercury was recently will be in a sextile to Pluto. We're talking about Pluto in your first house of identity and how you show up in the world and the power. Mercury, your communications. Between the 10th and the 12th of March, there's a sextile energy, which is a flowing energy, the nature of Venus, supporting these topics of using your own power and independence around neighborhood, perhaps within sibling relationship, or maybe in some teaching capacity as well. So Mercury, the planet of communication, has recently moved out of detriment in Pisces because he rules the opposite sign of Virgo, where he's in domicile and exalted. So he has more power to assert himself in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the ram, ruled by Mars. So this is sometimes there's an impatience, a boldness, a courage, sometimes a wee selfish streak as well with Aries because it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's very young. It's just aware of one's own needs. So there's a dynamism here with Mercury here in this third house, powering you up. but there will be a Mercury retrograde in Aries. So the retrograde starts on the 2nd of April until the 24th of April. So if you've got any plans or journeys or ideas that you want to implement, I would recommend you using them before the 18th of March, before the shadow period of Mercury retrograde happens. And if you can't do things within that time scale, just be aware that Mercury is going retrograde in the heavens, which can bring up some sense of confusion, miscommunications, delays, frustrations, tech problems. You know, we all blame our Mercury retrograde on when our computers don't work, or we're doing a Zoom and something goes with the communications and the airways, and you know. So just during the Mercury retrograde period, the positive things to do is to revise things, reflect on things, revisit things, reimagine things, review things. And yeah, like if there's gaps in your knowledge and in something that you would like to teach, then, you know, go back and revise and make sure you've got all the information. It's a good time for that. And then basically when Mercury comes out of the shadow period, after, what was it again? I think it's the, is it the 15th? No, it's 2 weeks after the 24th of April. Sorry about this. I'm just, yeah. So the 9th of May to the 15th of May, that's when you can pick up on the plans that you may have had between the 10th and the 18th of March, pick them up and continue with them and forge ahead while Mercury is in that house of Aries for you. So there is still a conjunction going on in this third house here with the north node of the moon, Rahu, the severed head of the dragon, and Chiron, the wounded healer. So there are some opportunities here to work on your own sense of belief in yourself, really, but it's in the area of your local neighborhood, and it could be related to relationships with siblings, if that's relevant to you, or distant relatives. It's definitely given you an opportunity to continue healing feelings around your own independence here in this house here. And Jupiter and Uranus continue to bless this fourth house of home and family, where Jupiter's been since last May and will continue to be here to the 25th of May. And there will be a conjunction here between Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system. So usually there's potential for gifts, rewards, recognition, expansion, good fortune. And Uranus is the planet that brings unpredictable things to the table, independence, rebellion, awakening, thinking outside the box, and also sometimes destabilization, crumbling away what feels safe, you know. So there's the potential of these two blending in the house of home and family and property and roots. So maybe there's an opportunity to think more broadly around these topics. Maybe there's a sense that you want to break free from family obligations or restrictions with Uranus here. And for some of you Aquarians, you might want to move away from home or make changes or feel more independent and free and liberated. So the exact conjunction is the 20th of April, but you may feel this building as Jupiter is applying to conjoin from the 3rd of April. And that goes on to the beginning of May. And also there will be a solar eclipse in your 3rd house of Aries here on the 8th of April. So something new happening in this local environment area of your life. So be prepared for some unusual, exciting things to happen. But just remember to look for the fine details, because when there's a solar eclipse, some of the light of the sun is obscured. So not everything is clear and visible. So I hope that's helpful for you, Aquarian ascendants. Thanks for listening. Again, press the subscribe button if you're interested in supporting me. And I'll be now moving on to the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. Thank you for being patient. Hi there, patient Pisces. If you've listened, I doubt if you've listened all the way through. I wouldn't listen all the way through, especially with my garbled messages. But anyway, welcome Pisces ascendant, sun or moon, if you don't know your time of birth. This new moon in Pisces is in the house which is related to you. the helm of the ship. This first house here is a very dynamic area of the chart, and it is really, it's the ascendant that's rising over the eastern horizon as you take your first breath in life. And so it really represents everything about you, your identity, your psychology, your vitality, and the way that you view the world, and also the first impression that people may receive of you. So this new moon in Pisces is giving an opportunity to plant some new seeds of how you want to express yourself in the world. This is the first house, the helm of the ship, Mercury's joy. And the luminaries, the sun and the moon, are at 20 degrees Pisces, sandwiched between Kronos, Lord of Time here, the strict elder of the Zodiac, the most distant planet that the ancient ones could see with the naked eye, sandwiched between Neptune, the wizardy uncle here, that brings in a mix of watery, creative, flowing, changeable energies to this new moon. So what is it that you want to bring about to how you show up in the world, and how can you plant new seeds of new beginnings in this? And if you do plant seeds of intention for change in how you show up in the world, they may come in the short term by the 25th of March, when there's a lunar eclipse in Virgo in the opposite sign, or 6 months later on the 18th of September 2024 at the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, when this new moon in Pisces comes to its fruition point. But if it's something more long term, that's going to need a longer time scale to plan and implement, with Saturn there in Pisces, this may also come to fruition around the 7th of September 2025. So sometimes Saturn in the first house can feel a bit like a burden, because he is restrictive, or he is serious and sometimes somber. And that can feel difficult for you, Pisces, especially because Saturn has moved into this first house related to you and only you since March 2023. And he will remain here until the 25th of May 2025. But you may have had some inspiration around new ideas of identity, because we've just recently had the Cazimi with the Sun and Mercury, the planet of the gods, the messenger of the gods, and Saturn, the taskmaster, the reality checker, all conjoined at the Cazimi point of the same degree of the Sun and same minutes. So when planets are in the heart of the Sun, on the throne with the god, with this vibrant being of power, they are given extra powers to use the communications and ideas, and then the planning and structuring. So that's been powering up ideas that you may be able to implement in the future. And that Cazimi was on the 28th of February. So the ruler of this new moon is Jupiter. In modern times, it's Neptune. But Jupiter for thousands of years has been seen to be the ruler of Pisces as well as Sagittarius. And he is gracing your third house. And he's been in a sextile and still is in a sextile to Saturn. So there's support from your local environment, your neighborhood, maybe siblings, distant relatives, to Saturn in the first house, maybe giving you some helpful support here in expansion, some support of good fortune. Some recognition here with Jupiter in this sextile aspect here. And Jupiter is also present. He's been here since last May and will continue to be here until May the 2025th. And you can see there's a co-presence with Uranus here. And Jupiter will be moving towards Uranus. And there will be a conjunction that you may feel the energies building from the 3rd of April, continuing until the beginning of May, but the exact conjunction is on the 20th of April. So the third house topics are a bit of a mixed bag, really. They can be about communications, teaching, learning, travel, local travel, neighborhood, things you do in and around the home. And they also relate to your siblings, distant relatives like aunts and uncles. In ancient astrology, the third house was known to be the house of the goddess. So it is about friendship groups, friends that you would sort of treat like family as well, but they are to do with siblings. So there is an exciting opportunity that's happening here around that period of time, where Uranus and Jupiter will be conjoined in this area of life. So look out for what's happening for you it could be unexpected, but it could be very expansive for you if you're prepared to step into going with the flow on this roller coaster, unexpected ride that Uranus often brings us. There will also be a solar eclipse in your second house of Aries on the 8th of April. So this is an opportunity for a new beginning in the house related to your own resources, where you are being encouraged to believe in yourself, because we've got Rahu and Ketu, Rahu, the north node of the moon, and Chiron, the wounded healer. So there's a sense of having to believe in yourself, recognize your own strengths and independence and skills that you have to bring to the table, because the second house is very much related to what you have, what you use, your possessions, your skills, and your finances, and how you can create security in the future. So you've got this continuing to give you nudges into believing in yourself here. And you've got Mercury in Aries encouraging that sense of thinking boldly and being courageous. So Pluto, the planet of regeneration, death, endings, and rebirth, has recently moved out of your 11th house of Jupiter's joy and is in your 12th house of Aquarius. So there's going to be some deep work going into the undercurrents and private area of your life, the inner spiritual world, where you can reflect upon things, facing your darker shadow self, developing more connection with your true inner self. So pay attention to your dreams here, because, you know, there could be some really powerful messages that can help be healing for you on a deeper level. And it will encourage you through these journeys of going into the darker shadows of the underworld, because Pluto is Hades, god of the underworld, to tap into your power, find the treasures beneath. This journey can be intense, but it's through these experiences that we can find our true sense of self and you know, find what really works within us, what's true for us, which can be regenerative and transformative. And this Pluto energy will be in place for the next 20 years of your life. So it's a very slow moving planet. And I forgot to say that if we have any planets between 17 and 23 degrees of the mutable signs, which are Pisces and Virgo, Gemini and Sagittarius, then this new moon will be felt more strongly, because they will be either in conjunction or a square, which is challenging, or in opposition. So I hope that's helpful for you, Pisces. Quite a mixed bag there, but it's very powerful for you, facing potential new beginnings and how you show up in the world here, and using the strength and support from your local environment, maybe siblings, and abilities to expand here with Jupiter. So I hope that's helpful for you, and I give thanks for you persevering with me through the glitchy, interrupted recording that I've done today. Again, if you're interested in a personal reading, contact me, look below. You can see my client testimonials, and I put a lot of energy into looking into your personal birth chart. I would need your name, place, date, and crucially time of birth to give an accurate ascendant, and then we can use the whole sign house system, and then you can see where your natal promise of all the planets are in your birth chart, and then we can look at the transiting planets in the heavens and what's being activated. Look at the solar eclipses, look at your annual perfection Time Lord, which is a planet that oversees you for the year ahead based upon your ascendant and things like that. So thanks for listening again, and many blessings for this new moon in Pisces. Bye for now.